New York City Mayor Eric Adams is in trouble yet again. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about New York City Mayor Eric Adams being accused of assaulting a woman in 1993, 30 years ago. Now, there's some context to this whole situation. The first thing is the Adult Survivors Act. Then there's the Migrant Crisis. Both of these things, in my humble opinion, have something to do with what's happening right now. First things first, the Adult Survivors Act. What is that? Great question. Glad you asked. Look at this right here first. Eric Adams accused of sexual assault in 1993 and new legal filing. The New York City mayor denies knowing the plaintiff who alleges assault by Adams 30 years ago. Now, you see the first line of this particular article. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been accused of sexual assault 30 years ago in a new legal claim filed under the Adult Survivors Act. Now, of course, there's other things going on we're going to get to in a minute. Campaign finance law violation allegations. We're going to get into that in a minute. But the main thing here is the Adult Survivors Act. Okay, more than 2,500 lawsuits of this type have been filed against other people. Not just Eric Adams. There's been a lot of guys involved. We're going to get into that in a minute. But let's continue here. The civil summons alleges Adams, a former NYPD officer, actually assaulted the plaintiff when they worked as city employees in 1993. The summons was filed late Wednesday in New York State Supreme Court in Manhattan and first reported by Messenger news outlet. Now, I think a lot of suits were filed on this same day because the deadline for the Adult Survivors Act was Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, and I'm pretty sure that the courts are going to be closed that day. So the last day really was on Wednesday to get your suits in the 1 year window. Okay, we're going to skip ahead here a little bit to talk about the Adult Survivors Act because I think that's probably the most important thing. And a lot of guys have been caught up in this. Axl Rose, Jamie Foxx, Cuba Gooding Jr., Bill Cosby. I think maybe even Trump had an allegation beforehand. Also, Andrew Cuomo. A lot of people have been caught up under this. Now, what this act does, it gives a 1 year window, and it was signed into law last year by New York State Governor Kathy Hochul. It gives adult survivors 1 year to file a claim against an alleged abuser with no statute of limitations. So you got guys getting accused of things from the early 90s like Eric Adams, the 80s like Axl Rose, and I think Bill Cosby was really active in the allegation scene in the 70s and 80s. So we're talking about really, really old claims, some a little bit more recent. I think Jamie Foxx, that was a case from 2015. It's all over the place. So this may look like Eric Adams is being targeted, and that could be true. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But I think the bigger picture here is the Adult Survivors Act. Again, 2,500 lawsuits filed of this type in just 1 year under the new law, okay? Now, let's keep going forward here. Eric Adams has responded to the allegations of the assault. Then we're going to get into the other thing that's happening, which is the migrant crisis. And I think both of these things are important to understand for the current allegations and the general issues that he's been having over the past few weeks. So let's go ahead and roll it. And of course, this will be available in the description box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
As I was stating, I want to respond to this lawsuit that was just brought to my attention. It absolutely did not happen. I don't recall ever meeting this person, and I will never harm anyone in that magnitude. It did not happen. And, it's going to go its course, it's going to take its process. But it did not happen, and that is not who I am. And that is not who I've ever been in my professional life. And, it's just something that never took place.
Mr. Mayor, there are quite a number of lawsuits filed
Hold on,
under the same name. person by the same name has filed quite a number of lawsuits and has even written a book that appears to be on sale on Amazon about how to file lawsuits and how to win.
Yo, that's crazy. Are you hearing this? So the person has filed a lot of lawsuits, and I'm assuming not just against Eric Adams, but other people. And they got a book on Amazon entitled How to File Lawsuits and How to Win. Did I hear that correctly? Let's back up a little bit to hear what the question. Let's please hear the question.
It's just something that never took place.
Mr. Mayor, there are quite a number of lawsuits filed under the same name. A person by the same name has filed quite a number of lawsuits and has even written a book that appears to be on sale on Amazon about how to file lawsuits and how to win. Does that make you question the credibility separate from the fact that you're saying this never happened?
Obviously, yes. Obviously, yes. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? And you know what? I despise people like this. If this is just somebody filing frivolous lawsuits, trying to get money, I mean, come on. A book about how to file lawsuits and win? Come on. And allegedly the same person filed a bunch of lawsuits, probably against different people. People like this make actual survivors hesitant to come out. Because obviously I can't believe that person. Come on, you got a book out. Why would I believe you when you file a lawsuit? Obviously, this is kind of like how you make your money. You wrote a book on it. So people like this make it hard for actual survivors to come forward. But let's continue.
Well, as you know, I've been in public life for almost 40 years, and people know my character. They see how I am, how I carry myself, and I could just emphatically state that one, this never took place, and I do not recall ever meeting the accuser, and it's just not who I am, and I would never do anything to harm someone. That is just my character. And you know, this is right now, you just have to really stay focused during these period of times. You know, Mom used to always tell me there's seasons when a lot seem to be going on, and at that moment you just got to let go and you let God.
So there we have it. So yeah, a lot of lawsuits. Who knows how many of them are going to be frivolous or not? But Eric Adams, as I said, has been facing quite a few issues. There's also the campaign finance law violation allegation, because they said there was some potential improprieties with people from Turkey or members of the Turkish government, and there's a construction company getting improper money. And to go back to the issue with the federal government, that's also something going on. That could be part of it. Maybe the person saw what was happening. Maybe they were, suck on him to have the lawsuit come out. Let me explain. So Eric Adams has been very critical of the federal government for keeping the southern border open. Now, part of that might be his fault or the governor's fault for being a sanctuary city and/or state. But also the federal government is keeping the border wide open. So over the past year, they've had 150,000 migrants come to and through the city. There's not enough places to put them. There's not enough money to pay for them. So there's a $7 billion shortfall in the city's budget, and they had to make drastic cuts to police, fire, sanitation, etc. to pay for it. Eric Adams has been very vocal about that. And ever since he's been vocal, all of a sudden, you get a campaign finance law violation. They raided his top fundraiser while he was on the way to the White House to speak to Biden, which was crazy. Okay, you're on the plane going to speak to Biden about the migrant crisis. So rather than having that media opportunity, the photo op, newspapers talking about it, writing about it, rather than that happening, as soon as you land at the airport in D.C., you get a call talking about they raided Breonna Suggs, your top fundraiser. So now you got to go back to New York immediately, and there's no meeting with Joe Biden. Is that a coincidence that the raid happened on the same day that he was going to D.C. to talk to Joe Biden? I'm just saying, if it's a coincidence, it's a pretty big coincidence, right? You have that happen, and then all of a sudden it's a random lawsuit out of nowhere from 30 years ago. Now, could it be true? I mean, it could be, but I mean, come on. At a certain point, we know that sometimes a lot of these lawsuits are frivolous, and the timing of the lawsuit, I know that it coincides with the Adult Survivors Act, but it also coincides with the whole thing about the migrant crisis. Eric Adams is in a vulnerable state right now, at least in the eyes of some of the public. So why not attack him right now while he's kind of on the ropes? That's what it looks like to me. But as I close, I want to say this. Hopefully some people who were actually victims are made whole. And by the way, the person in the Eric Adams lawsuit wants $5 million. $5 million. And these are all civil cases. I don't think there's any kind of criminal action going on. Everybody wants money from what I'm able to see. And it's no talk of locking anybody up. It's all civil cases. 2,500 of these lawsuits. This is some people's ability to get a bunch of money from a settlement out of court or going to court and winning. But it also creates a permanent stain on some people to be accused of a thing. It doesn't matter if you did it or if you didn't do it. Being accused is sometime enough, and that's really unfortunate. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening with Eric Adams? Do you think that the person is telling the truth, that Eric Adams did assault them in 1993? Do you think it's part of the whole migrant crisis kerfuffle, a way to try and smear the mayor? Or is it just a simple money grab? Okay. The person has a book allegedly on Amazon listed. You could buy it right now. How to file lawsuits and win. So if that person files a lawsuit, I probably won't take it too seriously. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. It's a lot of funny stuff happening right now. Not funny as in haha, but funny as in that's strange, that's weird. And it's really unfortunate because, again, people that have actually been victimized are now going to be seen as less credible because I got to think, okay, is it a money grab? Are you trying to attack somebody? Is it politically motivated? Is it a political hit job? What's really going on? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.